This video is an invitation to, instead of crash out, lock in into something much deeper and more profound. When we crash out, it's often because we are reacting to a surface level moment with something much deeper, whether it's someone's betrayal, someone's disappointment, or someone's actions that are triggering something much deeper within us. The reality is, reacting doesn't heal the wound, and blowing up on someone doesn't fix it or heal it either. And I want to be clear and say, as a woman, I will never suggest you repress your anger. Anger is a valid emotion that is needed to be expressed. It's healthy for us to express. But what I am saying is that anger is often a second emotion. You feel angry because you actually feel betrayed, because you feel disappointed, because you feel like you were not honored or you were lied to. Anger is a response to a second emotion. So it's really, instead of just blowing up because you feel angry, it's an invitation to go deeper. Why do you feel angry? What did this person do? And so, okay, yes, you feel anger, but what is really the true thing that you feel? Do you feel abandoned? Do you feel betrayed? Do you feel dishonored? Do you feel like you were taken advantage of? Those are the real emotions that anger is just a response to. And when we can name what the anger is coming from, we can express it in a more profound, healthier way. So this video isn't about crashing out. It's about locking in to uncover, what is this emotion teaching me? What is this moment teaching me? This experience is not just coincidental and coming out of nowhere. It's actually an invitation to go inward. Instead of spiraling out and responding and reacting in a way that isn't the healthiest, it's to go lock in and see, what is this triggering? What is this need that is being unfulfilled? And this is why I'm responding in that way. And what boundary did this person cross? And how can I honor my boundary next time? When we feel triggered or we feel like we're going to crash out, it's because one of our boundaries has been crossed to a point where we don't even know what to do with ourselves. And that's why we feel like crashing out. And so what I really want to highlight is the difference between a rule and a boundary. A rule is something that you want someone else to do. A boundary is how you respond to the actions of another. A rule is, you cannot talk to me like that. You cannot raise your voice at me. You cannot yell or scream or curse at me, right? That is a rule. A boundary is, I will not engage with someone that is yelling at me, that is talking at my name, that is being disrespectful. I will not engage. And so I think sometimes we get so flustered because someone is coming at us crazy. But in reality, it's, how are we letting this person, how are we permitting, how are we tolerating the actions of another person? And once someone has crossed our boundary exponentially, that is when we feel like crashing out. But really, it's, what do I need in this moment? What is the real emotion that I'm feeling? And what boundary did they cross? Did I communicate the boundary to them? Do they know that this is unacceptable? Or am I just lashing out because I'm like, oh, I can't believe they did this to me? Have we expressed the boundary to them? That, I think, is, in all the moments that I've crashed out, it's because my boundaries were crossed, but also I had been suppressing it for a long time. I was swallowing it. I wasn't saying anything. I was being nice. I was being calm. I was being good. And it was when I was at my wit's end that I crashed out. But really, it was an invitation to honor my boundaries more fully, to embody a strong woman that doesn't let you talk to me any kind of way and walks away when you do. So the key difference between a rule and a boundary is, a rule is what someone else does. A boundary is what you permit, what you allow in your hemisphere of space. And a boundary is holding my power and my responsibility to honor myself. I also want to say that there are some people that do want to trigger you, that do want you to crash out because it makes them feel more powerful. My meditation teacher was at a cookout and his ex-wife was there, and she said something that she knew would invoke a response to him. She knew that it would just piss him off. And so she said the thing and he popped off. He went and he crashed out. And do you know what she said? She said, I still have the touch. She wanted to see if she still had emotional power over him. She wanted to see if she could still get a rise out of some of him. And some people like that. Some people feel so uncontrolled in their own life that they view controlling others and having power over others as a sense of like, okay, I got her, or okay, she still cares about me because I can invoke this emotion in her. And that's manipulation, and that is not healthy. Before you quickly respond, you ask yourself, is this worth a response? Is this person going to feel joy and satisfaction from me blowing up? That is breaking the cycle. Just because someone gives you energy doesn't mean that you have to give it back. You can break the energy. You can break the cycle. Just because someone spews hate at you doesn't mean you have to spew it back. You really can be the cycle breaker. And it's not suppressing your emotions, but it is honoring who and who doesn't have access to you, has access to your spirit, to your energy, to your peace. Some people are so has so much inner conflict and live in a place of chaos that that's the only thing that they can invite you to. If someone is has a lot of chaos and is really unhappy, it's going to be very hard for them to invite you to joy and peace and light and love. Everything is energy. So if they are bogged down by the stresses of them, and that's the only invitation that they can give you, it's really a question of, am I going to give it back? Am I really going to entertain this? And the answer is yes. And the most important part of this video is that oftentimes we crash out because we want the other person to care as much as we do. But the reality is, if the person truly cared about us, truly respected us, they wouldn't have caused this much emotional distress into us. They wouldn't have caused us this amount of stress. And no paragraph, no yelling, no curse out, no action you can do can make someone care to the level that you do. If you, for example, were cheated on, there is nothing that you can do to that person that cheated on you that will make them feel that level of betrayal, that level of disappointment, that level of hurt. There's nothing you can do with your actions to make them feel how you feel. So I think sometimes we're like, okay, I'm going to crash out so they know how much they hurt me. And really, they can't. They'll never be able to experience what you've just experienced. And I think when you acknowledge that there's nothing I can say, do, or plead for them to feel the weight of my emotions, you give yourself your power back and the agency over how you feel back. There is nothing that person will be able to say to you for you to be like, it's okay. They hurt you. And if it's not a sincere apology, then what? And also, if you force them to apologize, is it a sincere apology? Is that even sincere? If you crash out and lash out at them and they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Was it even sincere? No. And so I say that all to say, when you feel this out of control, the biggest, most important question to ask yourself is why I am giving my precious energy to someone that is bringing out the worst in me. They're bringing out my most unhealed, most provoking parts of me. No, I feel like you have this beautiful vessel, you have this beautiful aura, energy, body, and essence. And when you exchange it with someone, you are giving them your time, you're giving them your love, you're giving them your energy, right? This precious thing, this little precious life we have. And it's all an energy exchange. And so the question to ask yourself is, why am I exchanging energy with someone that's bringing out the worst in me, that's making me uneasy, raising my cortisol levels, making me go into fight or flight, harming me? Crashing out is a response of something that is really triggering to you. And it's like valid. Again, this is not meant to suppress your emotions, but this is meant to ask you, why am I entertaining and exchanging energy with someone that's bringing out the worst in me? What is this wound really trying to teach me? Because the thing about it is, when we are crashing out, we are so hyper fixated on the other person and what they did, but really it's a soul wound asking to be healed. What is this experience trying to heal from you? Is it boundaries? Is it people pleasing? Is it advocating for yourself? Is it honoring yourself? What is this meant to teach you? Because I promise you, it's always deeper than the singular moment. This singular moment is the tip of the iceberg from a whole thing that's being asked to be healed. Because guess what? If you don't, you will just crash out again. Every time someone says something that activates that button, you're just going to pop off. Then you're always at the mercy of someone else's actions. And who wants to live life like that? Just because someone says something about me, am I just going to let that ruin my day? No, life is so precious for me to constantly be reacting to the opinions and words and actions of another. And this is not to like live life unbothered, but this is to live life through a filter of, is this worth my energy? Is this worth my essence? Is this worth me crashing out? Because I promise you, the people that love you, the people that care about you, the people that value and respect you, ultimately are not causing this much emotion out of you. And if they do, they will sit with you and they will listen and they will ask, how can I make this better? How can I solve this with you? The people that really care will take that time. And you don't have to yell, you don't have to pop off, you don't have to crash out in order to teach someone to care about you. I promise you, you don't. I also want to talk about the times in my life that I've crashed out the most. And if I'm being 1000% honest, those people did not respect me. And that's okay. That's I'm gonna just call a spade, they didn't respect me. But crashing out, yelling, screaming, writing the text message, doing the thing, did not invite respect. They didn't go and be like, oh my gosh, I respect her so much for crashing out. It was when I walked away, when I went no contact, when I was silent, when I left, when I took back my energy and power, that was when they were faced with what they did. Sometimes silence is louder than any action you can take. And this is, again, I'm not here to silence you. Your anger is so valid. How you want to express your anger is so valid. But sometimes the thing that you think will get a rise out of them really won't. And it's really sitting with, is this really going to change or help the situation? Probably not. That person isn't going to learn through the you spewing at them, oh wow, she's really upset. Oh wow, maybe I should honor her more. Maybe I should respect her more. No, it's gonna be a exchange of negative energy. You're yelling, spewing at them. The person naturally is just gonna be defensive. They're not gonna be like, oh wow, you're so right. No, they're going to be, oh, well, why are you acting like this? And it's just going to be an unproductive exchange is really what it is. I say that all to say, sometimes silence they can feel the weight of their actions through the silence that your yelling could never bring. Again, this is not about silencing yourself. This is not about not expressing yourself or your emotions. This is an invitation to lock in and go within. Instead of focusing on what the other person is doing and why they're doing it, you focus on, why am I so triggered by this? What is this really making me feel? Yes, I'm angry, but what else am I? I'm disappointed. I'm betrayed. I'm in awe that they would do this to me when I wouldn't do this to them. I'm feeling like I'm being taken advantage of. I feel like they're not honoring me and I'm not honoring my boundaries. It's always deeper. It's always an excavation to something deeper. And when you don't do the emotional inner work to say and see what this is trying to teach you, you will always be at the mercy of another crash out, of another lash out, of another fallout, because you're not doing the emotional inner work to be like, what is this really bringing up for me? It's never about the person. The person is just signaling to you something to heal. It's a soul calling you to something deeper, always. Because if it ain't Steven, it's going to be Joe, because it's really the inner wound that needs to be addressed. It really is. And so instead of hyperfixating on what they're doing, hyperfixate on the inner work so that you're not constantly triggered by the actions of others. And also to ask yourself, is this worth my time? Is this worth my energy? Am I really wanting to surround myself with chaos? Am I really wanting to entertain and give so much access to someone that is bringing out the worst in me, that is causing me to have chaos and strife over peace? When you lock in instead of crash out, you stop bleeding energy of harm and hurt, and you reclaim your power. You reclaim your essence. You sit with yourself and say, what is this moment trying to teach me, so that I'm not constantly triggered, so I'm not constantly crashing out? Because if this moment happens again, you're just going to crash out again. You're just going to go into fight or flight again. No. The next time you want to crash out, lock in. Lock in on who you're giving your energy to. Lock in on how you're honoring your boundaries. Lock into your true power and essence and honoring that, instead of just chaotically spewing your wounds onto people. I will say, if you really want to crash out, go ahead. Crash out. Crash your car into that person. But then don't be in awe and perplexed why the person is upset with you, or why you got this whole catastrophic mess on the highway. Don't psychoanalyze how the person was driving and why they were driving the way that they were. It's really, if you want to crash out, but then call the insurance, file a claim, which is really do the inner work so that you can move on and stop replaying why you crashed or what the crash was. And like, it just perpetuates that energy, when really you could just evolve from it and never get crash out again. And every time you see that car on the side of the road, you don't feel triggered to crash out. You say, ooh, I see that person, I see what they're doing, I'm going to honor myself and I'm going to drive out. That is locking in instead of crashing out. If you liked this video, please comment, share, like, and subscribe. Comment if this video resonated with you, and I'll be back with more videos on how to honor yourself so that you can experience more joy. Bye.